Welcome back to the Comp Closet podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm your host, Sarah Moore, and today I am joined by a beautiful content creator and FMG Bikini competitor who, at the time of recording this, is just over 4 weeks out from the FMG Gold Coast show. Taylor Parker, welcome.
Hello, thank you for having me. I love this podcast. So when you asked me to come on, it was kind of like a surreal thing for me. So I'm very grateful.
I'm so excited to hear more about your journey and updates on your prep as well, given that you are in the depths of it. So let's start
Yeah.
from the beginning. Can you tell me about the start of your fitness journey and like what sparked you to start your fitness journey, really?
Well, I got into the gym at a really young age. I think I started essentially as soon as I could. My mum signed me up for a local gym, and she also wanted to make sure that I was doing everything correctly. So she got me a little personal trainer, and I worked with him for like a couple of weeks, and we kind of just went over like the basics of movements and using the machines and just like doing everything safely. And that was invaluable for me at the time because I genuinely loved going. Like, it just really, I was a changed girl within like 1 to 2 months of going to the gym. I just felt so much more confident in myself. And I just, yeah, it really gave me just this fresh start almost, because when I was younger, like I was going through all of the crap that you go through when you're a young teenager in school. So it was really good for me. And the personal trainer that I got matched up with, he's become like a lifelong friend of ours and our family. So shout out to Sam if he's listening. Yeah, he's been awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. That's so cool to hear how you got into it because, some people start training from kind of a negative place or they start later in life or they start because they got injured. So it's really nice to hear that you got into it from the influence of your mum and started the right way as well with a trainer. So that's really awesome. And then going from there, like you've obviously been training in the gym for a little bit, what actually made you want to compete?
So I had my sights set on competing from such a young age. It was that same personal trainer who kind of introduced me to that world. And even in college, like I was watching YouTube videos of Courtney King, so like Miss Bikini Olympia at the time. I was watching her YouTube vlogs, and I looked up to her, and I was like, wow, she's my idol. I'd love to, step on the Olympia stage one day. And obviously, the physique for Olympia has just become next level over the years. So, obviously, as I've grown and changed and sort of seen how my body looks, I'm definitely better suited to FMG. But it's not to say that I don't look up to those IFBB girls. So, yeah, I think I always sort of had my sights set on competing. I didn't know when I was going to do it. It was just a matter of, like, it wasn't a matter of if, it was a matter of when. So yeah, I kind of just fluffed about in the gym for years. I didn't have like any structure. I had good form, which was good, but I didn't have any structure or kind of intensity behind my training. It wasn't until my partner and I moved to Cairns and I started training at this cool gym, and I kind of met a couple of people and they really influenced me along the way. So I met my friend Georgina Taylor, who's an FMG Bikini Pro, and I met my coach at the time, Tracy Deferard. So she's the pro figure champion. Yeah, so I met some really cool people in Cairns, and I think that really drove me to be like, okay, now's the time. Like, if I don't do it now, I'll never do it, sort of thing.
Yeah, incredible. And then once you decided to compete, what challenges did you face in those early stages of like your prep journey or even in your fitness journey as a whole?
I think it was just like I had to eat so much. I had to eat so much food. I started out at a pretty light weight, and I'm a tall, slender person naturally. That's the way my body kind of wants to be, which is great, but it's hard when it comes to bodybuilding. Being tall, you would understand this actually, because you've got such long muscle bellies. So in order to make that, look full and bubbly, the years it takes, like, no one prepares you for that. And I think It definitely humbles you, this sport, because you realize that you're only making very incremental progress, like over years. But I think that's why I also love it, because it really makes you a patient person and a hardworking person. So,
Yes, it absolutely does require patience, and I can completely relate to muscle building taking a long time, especially when you're tall. Luckily, I love to eat though, so that's not an issue for me. But do you
yeah.
struggle to get the food in?
When I did my first kind of bulk, I definitely struggled. There was definitely lots of force feeding that needed to happen, lots of smoothies, big bowls of rice and beef, and all of that. After my last comp, I went away and I tried to educate myself a little bit more. I started working with a different coach, and I kind of told him that I didn't want to feel super fluffy in my off season. I wanted to kind of stay within a nice range in terms of body weight, just because I feel better when I do that. Like, I feel better when I generally feel healthy and kind of light on my feet. And yeah, so there wasn't any cardio per se while I was in my off season, and there wasn't super high steps or anything. But I feel like I was eating a little bit more of a conservative amount of food, which was nice. But I was still eating enough to grow.
Yeah, there's so many approaches that you can take to it, right? And it's finding something that works for you and obviously finding a coach that you work well with as well to make that plan.
Yeah, exactly.
So, reflecting on your first bikini competition where you placed second, can you describe that experience, like the prep and then how it felt on show day as well?
The prep was really intense. I had some great people around me, but obviously living in Cairns, I was a little bit isolated because it was just me and my partner living up there. He had some relatives up there, but we weren't like super close. We kind of just like went over every so often and said hello. But yeah, I didn't have my mum with me, and like my mum is like my person. She's like my bestie. Yeah, so moving back home to Canberra, it's made this prep feel so different. So I would say just the lack of a support network was definitely one of the most challenging things. In saying that, like, I'm insanely proud of being able to do that without, anyone around really, other than my partner, who is a wonderful support. But, like, you can't just rely on one person, especially in a prep. Like, it's kind of like takes a village, let's be honest. So, yeah, like reflecting back on that first prep, it was definitely full on. And because I had gone so hard in my bulk, I just felt like I had a long way to go before I was going to be stage lean. So my prep was, I think, 22 weeks, which is pretty standard. But for me, I kind of like the idea of a short and sharp prep. So this time around, it's been a 16-week prep, with like 2 weeks at the start being a pre-prep phase. So yeah, I've definitely preferred this prep to my last one. Competing for the first time, it honestly felt like everything just fell into place for me. I think I'm just built for prep. I really feel like I thrive in that environment, and I'm very much a type A personality. I think a lot of other competitors are very type A. So having my daily to-do list and my non-negotiables to tick off every day, like, it gave me that sense of purpose and structure, and I just loved it. So all in all, it was an amazing experience, and placing in my first ever show was like a massive cherry on top with whipped cream and sprinkles and chocolate. So yeah.
Yeah, that is so incredible to place second in your first show. Like those lineups are absolutely stacked in those shows and they're big shows as well. So like, yeah, placing second is absolutely insane. What lessons did you learn during that first prep?
Well, I think, sort of like I touched on before, the importance of a support network is huge. I think time management is massive, and I've learnt that even more so this time round, because my first prep, I had a very kind of flexible work setup. I wasn't working a massive amount. So that really helped. But this time around, I've definitely had to, I guess, pull my socks up a bit and be a bit more, like selfish with my time. What was the question?
Lessons that you learned during your first prep.
My first prep. Yeah. Honestly, my first prep feels like such a blur. I think the biggest thing is just go all in. Like that was my biggest lesson, because when I was standing backstage waiting to go on, and you know how you line up in your line and you're backstage and you've got the butterflies in your tummy, I remember just shutting my eyes and going, wow, okay, I've done literally everything I could have possibly done. And that's the feeling you want to have when you hop up on stage. You want to feel like you left no stone unturned. I know everyone says that, but it's true. Like, you just want to go all in, because it is a massive thing to put yourself through financially, emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally, all of that. So I think you just have to go all in, and it will, people will see that you've gone all in. And if you place, it's just, the cherry on top.
Yes, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with that advice. Like going 100% all in is going to make you feel so much more confident on show day, like you said, whether you place or not. Like just knowing that you've put everything into it that you can at that time and stage that you're at is the best feeling when you get to show day. And only you know how much work you put in as well. Like no one else could ever understand like how you got through those harder days, or
Exactly.
push through the last of that cardio session, or got your steps done late at night because you
Yep.
hadn't done them during the day. Like all
Yeah.
those little moments just build up. It's just taking it day by day, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And like, although I look back and like I touched on this in my last YouTube vlog, there's so many little stupid things that I look back on and regret. Like, I didn't have a walking pad, and like, I just spent so much money on unnecessary things. And, it's easy to sit there and go, oh, I've got all these regrets. But really, they're not so much regrets. They're just like things that I want to improve this time round. And then I'm sure the next time round, there'll be things that I want to improve again. Like, it's a never ending process of just being better and doing better and learning.
Yes, that's so true. I don't know how I did my first prep without a walking pad and a Ninja Creamy. Like how?
And the Ninja Creamy, did you say? That's so funny. I actually, yeah, I haven't been using my Ninja Creamy for this prep, but I'm looking forward to making some bomb Ninja Creamies when I'm done.
Yes, 100%. Is there anything else that you like use on prep, or any little hacks or anything like having a walking pad that has really helped you, or is the walking pad the main one?
Actually, I do have one. So obviously, when you do your cardio in prep, you would understand that watching prep vlogs very much becomes a thing. And like for me, listening to your podcast, and you just want to kind of fully immerse yourself in the world while you're prepping. I don't know, like it just kind of makes it feel like less of a solo sport, I suppose. But through watching like countless prep vlogs, I've picked up so many cool little tips. Like, Sophie Arnold, Bikini Pro, FMG Bikini Pro. She was doing a check in one morning, and she had this measuring tape that you kind of clip in, and then you press a button and it goes shoo, around your body part, like your leg or your arm. And I just went and ordered one straight away, because I was like, oh my God, like that just speeds up my check in mornings by like probably only a minute, but wow, like, you know,
That
so
sounds so good.
that blew me away. So I invested in one of those. I don't know, I think just be as organized as you can be, because like the more variables you can kind of control, the better. So I really like, essentially from the moment I decided on doing the show that I'm doing, which is Gold Coast, I just kind of like had a massive list, and I looked back on kind of the notes that I put in my phone after my previous comp, of like the things that I would have maybe done differently in terms of my appearance on show day. And yeah, so I think just control the variables and make the experience as stress-free as possible.
Yeah, I love that. I think limiting stress is such a massive thing, and you can definitely do that by booking in lots of things early and then trying not to overload yourself on peak week because I know
Exactly.
it's been common for competitors, including myself in my first few shows, just doing like all the things in peak week, and all you want to do is put your feet up by that point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. My last peak week was just so intense. And like I said, I touched on that in my last YouTube episode, how I really look back and wish that I was able to kick my feet up and just relax. And, that's what you want to do as well from a physical standpoint, because your body needs to let go of that inflammation and that stress. So, yeah, I'm very much looking forward to cruising into this show because I'm ready early and like everything's kind of organized. So I have a good feeling about this peak week being fun.
Yeah, I'm so excited for you. So how has this prep been going as a whole?
It's been going really good. It has honestly flown by. I think it felt different initially because the end of the year slash start of the year, there's a lot of things going on. There's Christmas, New Year's, my birthday, my partner's anniversary, Valentine's Day, like you name it. Pretty much all of the exciting things have happened within this prep. So I think that's one thing that has felt quite different this time, but I think I've handled it really well. And my support network is just so good. Like, no one ever makes me feel bad for bringing my chicken and rice to family outings. So this prep has been amazing. Like I said, I had kind of a 2 week pre prep at the beginning, and then since then it's been like 14 weeks of proper prep. And I think the biggest difference, as mentioned this time around, is that I'm ready early. So that's been really good in terms of just feeling reassured and extra organized for the show.
Yeah, that's definitely a really good feeling. So what feedback did you receive from the judges in your first show, and how have you implemented this?
So I got really good feedback. I was super happy with my feedback. One of the judges did say that I should grow my glutes. Surprise, surprise. That's every bikini girl ever. Just go away
Oh,
and grow your glutes and grow your shoulders. So that's exactly what I did. I was like, I'm not going to get greedy and go for a back to back show. Like, as tempting as that might be, I was very much ready. Like, once that comp was over, I was very much ready to be a normal human in society for a while. And I just enjoyed my growth phase. I started working with my now coach, James McIntosh. And yeah, we just smacked it hard. Like, we just did lots of glutes, lots of shoulders. And yeah, like I just genuinely enjoyed my off season. It was really good. Like, a good amount of balance.
yeah, I love that. And speaking of balance as well, like how do you balance your fitness goals along with everything else in life? And I see that you also love baking and things as well. So how do you balance all of that?
I surprisingly do really well with the baking and the cooking stuff because that's a massive passion of mine. I started a baking business in COVID and very quickly learnt that baking and cooking and kind of acts of service is definitely my love language. So I think I get almost more pleasure out of cooking and baking for other people than I do for myself. In a funny way, like, don't get me wrong, I love, taste testing my cinnamon buns and my cookies and all of that. But at the end of the day, like, prep isn't going to get in the way of me cooking for my loved ones or baking for my partner because he just loves it. So yeah, I don't really let that get to me. I just smell the cookies and just fantasize, and that's fine because I know that they'll always be there.
Yeah. Prep is like realistically such a small period of your overall life or
Mm.
journey, isn't it? So like
Yeah.
realistically giving up those things for a small period of time is not too hard. But in your build phase, like how do you go about incorporating the flexibility?
I'm pretty cruisy. Like, I I'm definitely not the type of person to track on my fitness pal all year round. Like the people who do that every single day in their off season, I'm just like, how does that not feel like prep? You know, like I would rather have, an 80-20 kind of split and have days where I just don't track my food at all and I go on an adventure with my partner and we take a packed lunch or we go out for lunch, and allowing for that spontaneity in your life again is really nice because you don't get to have spontaneity when you're in prep. Everything is so set out, like from the time that you wake up to the time that your head hits the pillow. You know when you're eating, you know when you're shitting, you know when you're every single thing you're doing, and putting into your body. So for me, having that like excitement and doing, just random things, eating random things, trying new things. I love that. And that's how I would always want my off season to feel. And I think the people who are tracking year round, like hats off to them because I just could never. I think when prep rolls around, it kind of just feels like you've been doing the same exact thing all year. So yeah, I like to kind of have it very black and white. Like I enjoy my off season. I'm still responsible, and as my coach loves to say, don't be a dickhead. Like that's his golden rule. Just don't be a dickhead when it comes to eating or going out. Yeah, as much as I lost my train of thought.
That's okay. I totally get what you're saying. Do you find it's easier to kind of dial in on prep, like when you have had that flexibility on
Yeah.
your off season?
Yes, thank you. That
Yeah.
got me back on my train of thought. Yeah, I was gonna say that when I get into prep, it's like I flip a switch and I'm like, okay, we're in prep now. There's no bullshit. There's no sugar-free soft drinks. There's no stevia. There's no like nothing. Just eat the whole foods, do the training, like don't fuck around, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Rules to live by. So you're obviously running a business as well as prepping. How do you balance all of this and manage your time?
Some days I don't. Some days I don't. Let's be honest. Like, I think for me, I've had to accept that some days are not going to be balanced. Some days are going to be more about work and prep than relaxing and spending time with your family. But then I think I make up for it on other days. And I kind of just accept that, if I have a busy day or a busy week or I have a long gig on, like a wedding or something like that, I just accept that those days are going to be, my eggs are going to be in that basket. So I think just the acceptance of, yes, you're busy, but being busy is a blessing because it means that you're doing something right. And I think I'm so structured in terms of to-do lists and like time blocking. So I just do my best every day to tick off my non-negotiables and then my work things and my life things. So
Yeah, absolutely. And how do you actually block your time? Like, do you do that the morning of? Do you kind of plan out your week? How do you go about that?
So lately, I'm definitely like a notes app girly. So I have my master to do list, which I split up into personal work slash business and prep. And that's where I just have all of my things that I need to do. And then in the evenings lately, I've been sitting down for like 10 minutes at the end of the day and I put in like a daily today's agenda is what I call it. And it's just a to-do list on my notes app. So I put in, the same things every day. So posing, training if it's a training day, steps, cardio, just like all of the non-negotiables. And then if I need to do a few life things and a few business things, I'll put those in there. And I kind of just try and tackle the most important tasks first, obviously. And one of the best pieces of advice I got years ago was to eat the frog. So do the hardest thing first thing in the morning. And that's something I seriously live by in and out of prep because if you just keep putting it off, you're not going to do it. Like, you are not going to do it. And when you're in prep and you're depleted and your energy is low, just getting up and doing that thing before your brain even is fully turned on is the best thing you can do.
Yes, I couldn't agree with that more. It helps like in anything in life, in business, in prep, just everything. I live by that too. And it really does help. And especially like, even if it's like a cardio session in prep, if you go all day thinking about this cardio session and stressing about it and like making it so much worse in your mind than it actually is, then it's going to make it so much harder. Like, just get up and do it.
Yes, yes. Like, if I don't train in the morning, I don't train. I am not an afternoon training girl. Like, and I look at people who go to their 9 to 5s and then they go to the gym at 5:30 p.m. and it's peak hour. There's people everywhere. I like by 5:30, I want to take off my bra. I want to sit down and eat my dinner. I am not going to the gym.
Yeah, I can relate to that as well. I mean, hats off to everyone who does go and do it after a busy day of work, but I'm definitely a morning girly as well. It makes it so much easier for me.
Yeah.
So,
And it sets you up for the day. It makes your day feel amazing. So why wouldn't you?
absolutely. And what's one lesson that bodybuilding has taught you that's applicable to other areas of life?
Think like the way you do one thing is the way you do all things. Like, I think if you have a bit of a half-ass attitude about one thing in your life, that half-ass attitude will definitely bleed into other areas of your life. So I think that's why myself and a lot of other competitors will agree with me when I say that when you're in prep, you almost thrive in other areas of your life because you're a lot more kind of zoned in and a lot more focused and kind of disciplined. So when I'm in prep, I'm giving it 110%. And I guess some days your 100% isn't going to feel like 100% and you're going to be exhausted and you're doing your best, but that's all that matters. So I think, like, to add on to that, no amount of effort goes to waste. Like, if you wake up one day and you just are barely getting by, like barely scraping by, doing the bare minimum, sometimes the bare minimum is your 100%, and that's okay. I think, like, if you go at anything with that attitude of, I'm just going to give it my all, no matter what, even if I'm exhausted, hungry, moody, whatever, I think that just sets you up for life, and it sets you up to really have so much self confidence and, I guess, trust in yourself. So, yeah.
Yes, I love that so much. I could not agree more with all of that. So, where can our listeners find you online if they want to follow the rest of your journey to stage?
I hope I get this right. So, I think my YouTube is Tay Parko, one word, and then my Instagram is tay.parko. But you can also find me at Taylor the Hobby Baker. I don't post on there often, but I'm hoping after this prep, I'll get back into doing more baking and, I'll let that side of me come out a bit more.
Yes, amazing. I'll link those down below as well so that people can find you. Good luck for the rest of your prep and good luck for the Gold Coast show. I'm so excited to see you on stage.
Thank you. I'm really excited, really, really excited.
And thank you so much to our listeners as well. If you could share this episode to your stories if you enjoyed it, let us know what you got out of it or what you're doing while you're listening. And don't forget to follow the show as well because it helps us to grow and get on more incredible guests like Taylor. Thanks so much.
Thank you.